Shedeur Sanders, it's come out that he's got an oblique problem, and it's going to take him out for a significant amount of time. How much is significant? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Anybody have an opinion on that? TJ?
Nobody knows.
I mean, it's oblique, right? I think part of the problem, guys, is the guy wasn't getting a lot of reps in practice, right? He was, fourth on the depth chart.
Right.
All of a sudden, he's forced into a start last week. His body probably wasn't prepared. He probably threw the ball more in that game than he had probably.
You think that's going to cause an oblique problem?
I'm just reaching. I'm not a doctor.
You are reaching.
I play one on TV. I'm just looking for an answer, and that's the only thing I could come up with. But don't know much about the oblique area like we talked about yesterday. But you would imagine it would probably be about a week or two. But for his development, you kind of hope it's not that long. He can't afford to fall any further back, obviously.
Yeah, it's too bad that the momentum from the start last week, which, by the way, 2.2 million people I just saw watched that on NFL Network.
Insane.
I think a record for a live preseason game. Most watched preseason game in 10 years live. And now
that's not a coincidence.
And now
either.
that's all been derailed because of this, which is super unfortunate for him and kind of unfortunate for shows like ours. And now he's not going to play this week. Probably won't play the final preseason week. And now, his chance of starting, as slim as it was, is probably now zero. Joe Flacco is in bubble wrap, as we said. And now it's Dillon Gabriel who's back. And
is he 100% though back? Like, is he 100%? Because he's been injured.
He has been out and has missed time as well. But he's out there playing in practice. Their joint practice with the Eagles. So I imagine we're going to see him this weekend. And then it's Snoop Huntley. Probably the same thing that happened last week, right? Dillon Gabriel will play the 3 quarters like Shedeur played, and Snoop will get the 4th, and that'll be that as as we get ready.
I wonder if they're going to baby
preseason.
Gabriel a little bit because of the injury, or is he 100%? I feel like you never know in the NFL what's going on with injuries. They kind of just tiptoe around everything. Like, why can't you just give me a solid answer? Like, look, Gabriel's going to play 3 quarters. We're going to have Snoop come in. He's going to play 1 quarter. Or Gabriel is injured still, but we're going to give him about a quarter. Like, why can't they just give us the information that we want and that we want to hear instead of just guessing all the time? Like, this is me just throwing stuff out here, and you can throw it right back.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, there's literally only injury reports because of gambling. Yeah. So if it was up to them, they wouldn't tell us anything about injuries.
And Mike, do you really want the other team to get the drop on your squad? Like, you don't want to all that information out
but
there.
But I want to know.
I know you want to know.
I want to know.
And I know you've got a pipeline. You've got a landline to the Browns.
I do have a pipeline.
Right? So you could, in theory, figure some stuff out that most people couldn't.
Having a pipeline,
but you don't want everybody
cool.
to know.
It is kind of cool. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Like, one of my best friends is Cleveland Browns Daily, Nathan Zagura, and I'll always call him. I'll be like, "Hey, man, what's going on there?" And then I do have Kevin Stefanski's number, so if I ever do need a good text, I could always do it. But I never want to do that to like a coach, right? Like, I'll usually text him about golfing or something like that. I don't ever text him about football because I want to keep us at a good, look, I'm not going to ask you these questions because I want to know, but I also don't want to overstep my boundaries, if you will,
right, that's
of our
a relationship.
friendship.
Yeah, you don't want to take advantage of that relationship and friendship. And speaking of Kevin Stefanski, he spoke this morning about it and was asked about what's going on with Shedeur's oblique.
Yeah, felt it early, I think warming up, and then felt it throughout individuals, so took a look at it. If it's a right guard, you can play through that. When it's a quarterback, you kind of need that muscle to throw. So unfortunately, going to put him down for a little bit here. We'll treat it day to day and see how he responds, but want to be smart because he's a thrower, so you can't push that thing.
A violent thrower, I like that.
He is a violent thrower. You know what I also liked? I saw another clip, and I think we have it, with Jalen Hurts talking to Shedeur and basically saying, hey man, like remember how we were talking with Kurt Warner yesterday, and Kurt Warner's like, I wish people would ask me a little bit more. It feels like Shedeur is asking the right questions to a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Let's take a look at Jalen Hurts talking about Shedeur Sanders.
I keep the conversation intimate. We had a very lengthy conversation. He came to me and just, wanted to talk. And I'm always there, as said earlier, of giving my perspective on what I see and how I've gone about things. And Ultimately, it takes a great deal of patience and hard work and a sense of resilience. You know, you got to want it. You know, you got to want it. And so I'm supporting him from where I am and wishing him nothing but the best with his opportunities.
Now, no matter what you say about Shedeur Sanders, it seems to me like he's doing all the right things. Yes. Kurt Warner yesterday was saying he's disappointed in the lack of people coming to him, like rookies, talking to him about being what it's like to be an NFL quarterback. Now you see and hear from Jalen Hurts, a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Shedeur is asking him advice, asking him certain things, and they're in a practice going head-to-head together. Like, they're in season, and this is Jalen Hurts talking to Shedeur Sanders. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I like to see as a Browns fan. These are the things that I want out of a franchise quarterback. I feel like too many times we see these rookies, I know it all, and you can see it. You can see what they're talking about, like in their interviews, and they're like, this guy just, he doesn't get it. Shedeur gets it. I like it. And I don't understand if he wasn't, say he wasn't injured, he'd still be fourth on the depth chart. I don't get that. Can someone please explain that to me?
I also feel when you watch some of these clips of Shedeur, right, interacting with his teammates, have you seen the clips of him and Myles Garrett kind of chopping it up, and he's picking Myles Garrett's brain, and then with the Jalen Hurts thing, and of course he's got a relationship with Tom Brady, the GOAT, so of course he's picking his brain for knowledge. All these people seem to really love Shedeur, Mike. And so it makes you wonder,
why?
It makes you wonder what could have been so bad, guys, in those meetings. Because from all we've seen, Shedeur is checking every box. He seems to be doing everything right. No one has a bad thing to say about him. So what happened, man?
Is it an act? Do you think it's an act for the cameras? Like he knows the camera's on, he knows he's mic'd, and so he's just playing the game?
I think Shedeur, if you look back, Dion used to have a reality show years ago, and Shedeur, I believe, was 12, 13 when that show started. If you go back, you find clips. That kid at 12 years old had more confidence in him than a grown man. Like, he's always been confident in himself, and growing up with that in that household, I'm sure that just boosted up his confidence. I don't believe it's an act. I believe that's him, and people are responding to him. Chris, 2.2 million people watched a preseason game between the Browns and the Panthers? Like, you think that just happened by accident?
Yes, I do. It's the Cleveland Browns. Everyone wants to know what we're up to every single season.
Well, like maybe 1 million just for the Browns, but the other 1.2, they came for Shedeur. I don't see any way you can.
You know, it's the thing too, TJ. We were at the Cowboy documentary premiere on Monday, and Jerry was talking about the popularity of the Cowboys, right? And it's the people who are the fans, and it's the people who want to see them lose, right?
Yes.
And so I think there is that kind of fascination with Shedeur, much like Floyd Mayweather in a weird way. Like, oh man, is this the time he's going to lose? Yep. And I don't want to be that negative, but it seems like probably a percentage of that, the people 2.2 million watching them, we're probably maybe seeing if he would fail and see what he would look like. Right, they were there for him, but maybe they didn't have his best interest in mind in their viewing, but they're still watching him. You know, we heard some stories about the pre-draft process, some of the meetings where he was disinterested, took phone calls, had headphones around his neck and playing loud music. Maybe he thought that he was going to go earlier. A lot of people were projecting him to go earlier. That's kind of the good and bad with the mock draft system that we have, you know, in the pre-draft stuff now is, you know, look, people think they're going to go in a certain spot, and then there's inevitably the guys who drop in the draft, and maybe Shedeur got caught up in that and thinking that he was going to be a top 5 pick. We certainly all kind of had that feeling going into the draft that was a possibility, definitely in the first round. And so now expectations have to be reset, and it seemed like he's done a good job recalibrating his pre-draft expectations to what's happening now in training camp, and he's doing and saying all the right things. By all accounts, he's been a model teammate and a model rookie, and now he's getting his opportunity, and it's too bad that it's been derailed by this injury.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.